Hello and welcome to Mountaincoffee Outdoors. I am Gareth. Today I wanted to come out with a kind of a special purpose in mind. I'm not doing an overnight camp out, just coming out, having a fire, having a meal, and going to do something a little special later on. And the reason for all of this, if I needed a reason really, is that I found out a few days ago that Mors Kochanski had died back on, I think it was December the 6th. And that was some sad news to hear. You know, I knew he was getting up there in years, but I kind of figured he had a number of years to go. He died of cancer, apparently. So I wanted to kind of come out and do a little thing kind of to honor him, because where I'm at right now is the place that I actually came out and camped at overnight and shot my very first video for this channel, really. It was inspired in large part by some of Morris's, like his book Bushcraft or Northern Bushcraft, and some of his stuff on YouTube that you can still watch, and I recommend watching some of his videos because they're really quite good, and there's a lot of stuff you can learn there. But anyway, that's why I'm out here. Kind of want to come back, kind of honor him and kind of his impact he's had on me. I've only known who he was for about the last 2 years or so. So I was kind of late to figure out who he even was and all that. But anyway, he's kind of helped leave a mark on me. So that's what I'm doing. And believe it or not, I know I pretty much always go out and do stuff all by myself all the time, but I actually somehow suckered my wife into coming out here with me today to just have a meal and sit by a fire and stuff. And she doesn't really want to, she didn't think she's cool enough to be on the video, so we'll leave her out of that. But anyway, she's actually here with me, so I'll actually have a camera person if I need somebody. But anyway, yeah, just time to get some firewood and get a fire going, and the same old normal thing. It's kind of settling for a little bit of enjoying the outdoors on I guess it's almost technically winter here the solstice is in a couple days, but it's meteorological winter anyway. There's a little bit of snow on the ground. Got some snow last weekend, but anyway, we'll go from there. wood definitely, cutting wood warms you twice. First when you cut it, second time when you burn it. Almost. Well, that's not exactly where I wanted that to wind up, but it's working. Kind of crazy how you can get a whole fire from one teeny tiny little steel spark. Just boiling some water for some tea. And the good old Morris pot, of course. think I might almost have boiled a little bit too much water for tea, but that's all right. I think I might be the only one drinking it. Throw a good number of tea bags in there and call it good, I guess. I feel like I'm camping with Steve. Beautiful wife's with me, but she doesn't want to be in the video because she's a teacher. Grace is probably hunkered down at home. Staying all toasty.
This fire's not very toasty. Just saying.
Maybe we need another log.
Huh?
Maybe it needs another log.
Needs something. So we can feel it. I can't feel it.
Yeah, I'm finally cooking supper. Have some sirloin steaks and heating up some water for some mashed potatoes. Marinated the meat in some Worcestershire sauce with a little soy sauce added, and threw some Montreal steak seasoning on both sides of it. Get this thing rotated around a little bit if I can. I think my headlamp causes some funny, annoying lines on the video, but oh well. At least you can see it. Sirloin steak and mashed potatoes. All right, so like I was saying earlier, one of the motivations for coming out tonight, other than getting to spend some quality outdoor time with my wife, which I pretty much almost never get to do, was to honor Mors Kochanski, who died earlier this month. And like I was saying, he, even though I honestly have only known who he was for about 2 years now, you know, he had an impact on me, and in some of his kind of wilderness skills and some of his ideas and stuff like that. He was big on, his big catchphrase was, the more you know, the less you carry. And I think that you can kind of adapt that in many ways when it comes to the outdoors. And another thing about Morris that I learned was that he had a quite impressive library of books, not only just of outdoor stuff, but of all sorts of different subjects. And I noticed something on Facebook where his family was joking that they all thought that he would eventually be taken out by an avalanche of his book collection, but in the end it was cancer that got him instead. And I believe it may have been this weekend that they were having a kind of a celebration of life or whatever. They were calling it up in Alberta, Canada. I think it was out at the wilderness school that he taught at. But they made this comment that if you couldn't make it to the memorial celebration, that in place of that, you should read The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service. And about a year ago, maybe 11 months ago, I read this same poem by a fire. So I've already done this once, but I really enjoy this poem. I always have. I first heard it at a winter camping training Boy Scout thing that I went to many years ago, and it really it's really stuck with me ever since. And so in honor of Mors Kochanski, here's The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the south to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say, in his homely way, that he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold, through the parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close, then the lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed, and the stars o'erhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me, and Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no. Then he says with a sort of moan, it's the cursed cold, and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet 'tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. A pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh, and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long night, by the lone firelight, while the huskies, round in a ring, howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I loathed that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed heavier and heavier grow. And on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. And I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum. Then here, I said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why. And the greasy smoke and an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out, and they danced about, ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm, in the heart of the furnace roar, and he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, Please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge. I cremated Sam McGee. And that's the cremation of Sam McGee for Mors Kochanski. May he rest in peace, and hopefully up in heaven they have some good wilderness. Well, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Sorry that this shot is just me talking while the camera's still on the fire, but it's dark out here, and
Your wife is cold.
my wife's cold, and I think the video of the fire would look better than me trying to shine a flashlight in my face. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. A little quick little campfire meal outdoors in honor of Mors Kochanski. And yep. But I hope you enjoyed the video. And this is Gareth with Mountain Coffee Outdoors. I will be seeing you next time.